Have you ever wondered why some men seem to move through social situations like they're playing a game they secretly know the rules to, while you feel like you're improvising every move and hoping something lands? You see a beautiful woman, you feel that pull, and in your mind you know exactly the kind of man you want to be in that moment. Calm, centered, attractive, in control. But then reality hits. Your thoughts race, your body tightens, you overthink what to say, and that window closes. And later, you replay the scene in your head thinking, if I had known exactly what to do step by step, I wouldn't have wasted that chance. That's exactly what the mystery method was designed to solve. Not magic, not cheesy lines, but a clear map of how attraction, connection, and intimacy actually unfold between a man and a woman. Today, I'm going to walk you through that map without fluff, without stories, and without theory that you cannot apply. Just the structure, the psychology behind it, and what you need to do in each stage so you stop guessing and start acting like a man who knows where he's going. The first thing you need to understand is this. Most men don't fail with women because they are unattractive. They fail because they move in the wrong order. They try to be intimate before there is comfort. They try to build comfort before there is attraction. Or they stay stuck in endless comfort without ever letting the interaction turn into something electric and masculine. The mystery method is basically a model of courtship built out of three big stages: attraction, comfort, and seduction. Inside each of those stages, there are three key moments, 9 steps in total. Once you see those 9 steps clearly, you stop doing what average men do, hoping that chemistry will somehow fall from the sky. Instead, you understand that attraction is built deliberately, comfort is created deliberately, and seduction is the natural result of how you've led the first 2 phases. As you listen, notice where you usually get stuck, because that's the point you need to train the most. Before we even talk about what to say or do, we have to lay down the mental foundation. Every technique in the mystery method collapses if you show up as a needy man who is begging for validation. The entire method is built on the idea that you are the prize. That is not just a motivational quote, it is a practical frame. When you see yourself as the prize, your behavior naturally changes. You stop chasing attention and you start evaluating. You stop trying to convince and you start qualifying. That is deeply aligned with Stoic philosophy. Focus on what you control, your state, your standards, your actions, and detach from what you do not control, her mood, her past, her instant reaction. Your job is not to force an outcome. Your job is to show up as a grounded, high-value man and lead the interaction through the right stages. When you internalize that, you stop acting like a performer and start acting like a selector. So how do you build that internal state before you even approach a woman? It begins long before you leave your house. The mystery method and many other seduction frameworks assume you are actively working on your life, your style, your grooming, your posture, your health, your social circle, your sense of purpose. These are not optional details. They are your baseline demonstrations of value without you saying a word. When you walk into a venue, your body language is already speaking. Are your shoulders back? Is your chest open? Are your movements relaxed and economical? Is your face tense and serious? Or do you carry a relaxed, subtle smile that suggests you are already enjoying your life? Your voice matters as well. The way you project, the pauses you use, the pace at which you speak. A man who is comfortable in his own skin never rushes his words to fill the silence. And from a psychological point of view, calmness signals status. You want your nervous system settled. That means, before you engage, take control of your breathing. Focus your attention outward on the environment instead of getting lost in self-talk, and decide on one simple goal: to express your energy, not to chase a result. Now, let's enter the first official stage: attraction. In the mystery method, the first moment inside attraction is often called the opening phase. The objective here is not to impress a woman, not to get her number, and not to immediately be sexual. Your objective is simple. You insert yourself into a social situation in a way that feels natural, relaxed, and socially intelligent, and you get a conversation started. That's all. Most men already fail here because they give that moment way too much power. They stare from a distance, their anxiety builds, and by the time they approach, their energy is already off. One practical guideline you can use from this method is what is often called the 3-second rule. Once you notice a woman you would like to approach, you give yourself a maximum of 3 seconds to move. Why? Because it stops your internal dialogue from spiraling into overthinking. You train yourself to be a man of action. You see, you move, and then you talk. What do you actually say in that first moment? The mystery method popularized the idea of indirect openers. You start the interaction by talking about something other than her looks or your interest in her. This bypasses her defenses and lets you enter as a socially calibrated man, not as another stranger immediately trying to pick her up. You can comment on the environment, ask for a lighthearted opinion, or make an observation about something visible and neutral. The important part is not the exact words, but the frame. You are not there to ask for something. You are there to share your vibe and bring value. Your body is open to the group. Your eyes move around. You are not laser focused on her like a spotlight. If she is with friends, you involve them as well. You are not sneaking in. You are bringing your presence to the space. That alone already separates you from the timid majority. Once you've opened and the conversation is flowing, you move into the second moment of attraction, demonstrating value and sparking her interest. This is where many men misunderstand the mystery method. Demonstrating value does not mean bragging about your car, your income, or your accomplishments. It means letting your qualities show naturally through the way you talk, the stories you choose, the way you tease, and the way you relate to other people around you. High value is communicated through social proof, other people reacting well to you, your ease in groups, your sense of humor. It is communicated through emotional range. You are playful, then curious, then relaxed, and you guide the emotional tone instead of mirroring everyone else. It is communicated through boundaries. You do not tolerate disrespect, you do not laugh nervously at everything, and you are comfortable disagreeing in a light way. When a woman sees that you are used to being treated well and you hold yourself like a man with options, her attraction can spark without you ever saying, "I'm high value." At this stage, you start looking for indicators of interest. The mystery method lists many. She holds eye contact, she laughs more than necessary, she lightly touches you while talking, she asks you personal questions, she stays in the conversation even when there are easy opportunities to leave. These are not guarantees, and they are not permissions to cross any boundaries, but they are signs that she is enjoying your presence. When you notice them, you do not get excited like a teenager. You simply accept them as normal feedback. A confident man expects positive reactions and stays grounded when they appear. This is crucial. If you overreact to every sign of interest, you show that this kind of attention is rare for you, and that lowers your perceived value. So instead of thinking, "Wow, she touched me, that must mean something," you think, "Of course she is engaged. I am leading this interaction well." The third moment inside attraction is about qualification. This is a turning point that many men skip. Up to this point, you are the one showing your value. If you stay there, you become an entertainer. You might generate attraction, but you do not generate respect. Qualification means you start to show that you are selective. You are not impressed by her just because she is beautiful. You want to know who she is, what she stands for, what she is like beyond her looks. So you shift the frame. You ask questions that matter, what she cares about, what she does for fun, what her opinions are about a topic that actually reveals something. And when she says something you genuinely like, you reward that with your attention. You might say, in your own words, that you appreciate that quality in her. This is what creates a very powerful dynamic. She begins to feel that she is earning your interest, not that you are blindly chasing hers. In this moment, you also use your time and attention wisely. You do not stand glued to her side. In social environments, you can move between conversations, return to her later, and let her feel that your attention is something that comes and goes. This intermittent attention is powerful. It mimics the reward patterns that are known in psychology to keep people engaged. You are not doing this to manipulate. You are doing it to avoid the pattern of over-availability that kills attraction. The key is to stay congruent. If you step away, you do so with relaxed confidence, not with anxiety. If you return, you do it as though it is the most natural thing in the world. Now, when attraction has been established and she has shown interest, the mystery method moves into the comfort stage. This is where many men either rush or get lost. Comfort is not boring conversation. Comfort is emotional safety. It is the feeling that you are not just a performer, but a real man with depth, someone she can trust, someone she can relax around. Comfort is built through time, through shared experiences, and through emotional exchange. Psychologically, this stage is what allows a woman to let her guard down. Without comfort, attraction often leads nowhere. She might feel pulled towards you, but if she cannot imagine feeling safe with you, she will protect herself by pulling away. The fact that you are watching this and learning the structure already puts you ahead of those men who think that attraction alone is enough. The first moment of comfort is about quality conversation. The room for small talk shrinks, and the room for real connection opens. This does not mean you suddenly become overly serious. It means you start to mix playfulness with depth. You ask better questions. You share parts of your life that reveal your values, your mission, your principles. You listen actively instead of waiting for your turn to speak. You reflect her emotions back to her. When she shares something, you respond to how it made her feel, not just to the facts. You allow some vulnerability on your side, but always from a position of strength. You might talk about challenges you overcame, choices you made, changes you implemented. You do not complain or overshare trauma to get pity. You reveal enough to show that you are human, not a mask. As comfort builds through conversation, you gradually transition into shared experiences. This is the second moment of comfort. The mystery method and many other dating frameworks emphasize the power of multiple locations. When you move with her from one environment to another, say from a loud place to a quieter one, from standing to sitting, from one corner of a venue to another, you are actually teaching her nervous system to feel that being with you in different contexts is normal. That is called building familiarity. It makes the idea of spending more time with you later feel natural rather than abrupt. During this time, physical contact can begin to grow in a calibrated way. That means you pay attention to her reactions. You might start with light, socially acceptable touches, like a brief touch on the arm while emphasizing a point, and you notice whether she leans in, stays neutral, or pulls away. If she seems comfortable and reciprocates with her own touch, you can let that physical closeness slowly increase over time. If she stiffens or seems uncomfortable, you immediately pause, give her more space, and return to conversation. Consent and comfort are non-negotiable. A man who respects boundaries is far more attractive than a man who pushes. At a more advanced level of comfort, you reach a point where there is clear mutual connection. The conversation feels easy. Silences are not awkward. You have shared some meaningful things, laughed together, and you sense that she is relaxed around you. This is the third moment of comfort. Intimacy of presence. It often happens in a quieter space, away from the noise. This is where logistics start to matter. The mystery method talks a lot about planning your logistics so that moving to a more private setting is convenient and natural, not forced. That might mean choosing venues that are close to a place where you can continue the interaction later, or planning your evening with the option of a natural transition. Here is the ethical line. You never trick her, you never pressure her, and you never ignore her signals. You simply make it easy for things to progress if both of you feel that desire. When you invite her to a new location, you present it calmly, as if it is the most normal suggestion. If she hesitates or declines, you accept it without argument or negotiation. Now we arrive at the seduction stage. In the original mystery method, this stage is broken into smaller steps that describe the progression into physical intimacy. For our purposes, you can think of seduction as the natural deepening of physical and emotional connection that happens after attraction and comfort are already solid. If you have done the previous work well, this stage does not feel like a sudden switch. It feels like the next logical step between two adults who are attracted to each other and feel safe together. You are not trying to convince her, you are simply allowing the sexual energy that has been building to express itself in a mutual consensual way. The most important skills here are not tricks, they are sensitivity, calibration, and respect. You pay attention to her breathing, her body language, her responses. You move slowly enough that she has time to decide how far she wants to go. If at any point she shows hesitation, verbal or nonverbal, you stop, check in with her, and you are fully prepared to slow down or end the physical escalation altogether. That is not weakness, that is mature masculinity. One concept the mystery method mentions is the idea of last-minute hesitation. From a psychological perspective, it is normal for a woman to feel waves of doubt even when she is attracted and comfortable. This is not an invitation for you to push harder. It is an invitation to show your character. A grounded man does not get angry, defensive, or manipulative. He relaxes, pulls back, maybe returns to simple affection or conversation, and lets her see that his desire does not override his respect for her. Ironically, when a woman sees that you are not going to pressure her, her trust in you increases. Sometimes that trust leads to deeper intimacy later. Sometimes it does not. In both cases, you win because you acted according to your principles. Now that you understand the three main stages and their key moments, let's talk about the common mistakes men make at each stage and how the mystery method helps you avoid them. At the opening stage, the biggest mistake is hesitation. You see an opportunity, but you delay. And by the time you approach, your energy is nervous and your timing is off. The second mistake is approaching in a way that is too direct, too soon, in environments where women are used to being hit on aggressively. That triggers her defenses. The third mistake is entering the interaction asking for permission to stay, instead of assuming that your presence is welcome. The solution is simple. Move quickly, open in a light and indirect way, and carry yourself as if you are already part of the social fabric of that environment. You are not invading anything. you are contributing. During the value and interest stage, the classic mistake is becoming a dancing monkey. You tell too many jokes, you talk too much, and everything you say is designed to get a reaction. That reveals that you are outcome dependent. Another mistake is trying to impress her by bragging about money, status, or possessions. That signals insecurity, not value. To correct this, you focus on creating an emotional experience, not listing your achievements. You tell stories that reveal who you are, without trying to prove anything. You show that you have a life you are proud of, but you never use it as a weapon to seek approval. And you make sure to interact with others around you, so she sees that your charisma is not an act reserved only for her. In the qualification stage, the main error is skipping it entirely. Many men think that once a woman shows interest, the game is over. They start agreeing with everything, putting her on a pedestal, and they stop being themselves. Very quickly, the polarity disappears. The mystery method forces you to keep your standards front and center. You ask yourself, what do I truly look for in a woman besides her looks? Is it kindness, passion, humor, integrity? Once you know, you naturally ask questions and look for evidence of those traits. When you find them, you acknowledge them. When you do not, you remain polite, but internally you know that you are not going to invest deeply. This mental filter alone will prevent you from chasing women who are not aligned with you just because they are attractive. The comfort stage has its own traps. One is rushing it. You feel strong attraction. You sense that she does too, and you try to leap directly into seduction without giving her nervous system enough time to feel safe. She might pull back, and you misinterpret that as rejection, when in reality, she simply needed more comfort. The mystery method reminds you that comfort is not optional. That means giving the interaction time, staying with her through different environments, letting her see that you are consistent, not changing your personality suddenly. Another trap is turning comfort into a therapy session. You end up sharing too much, complaining about your life, or diving into heavy topics prematurely. Instead, you keep the tone balanced, lightness mixed with depth, curiosity mixed with play, seriousness only when it naturally arises. In the seduction stage, the mistakes become more serious because they involve boundaries. Some men, driven by scarcity, become pushy, ignoring signals that she is not ready. Others become so afraid of rejection that they never make any move, and the moment simply dies. The mystery method encourages you to lead, but with sensitivity. You might be the one to suggest moving to a quieter place, the one to move closer, the one to initiate a kiss when the moment is right. But you are always tracking her reaction. A simple principle you can use is this: escalate a little, then hold. If she relaxes into it, stays close, or escalates back, you can continue. If she tenses up, goes silent, or pulls away, you slow down, or you step back completely. You are never entitled to intimacy. You are simply opening the door for mutual desire to express itself. Now, let's step back and look at how you can actually use this method in your life without turning into a robotic imitator. The mystery method is a model, not a script. That means you are not supposed to copy every line or every move you read in a book. You are supposed to understand the underlying structure and then express it in your own personality. For example, the idea of demonstrating value does not mean you must perform magic tricks or memorize routines unless that genuinely fits you. If you are naturally witty, your value might come out through humor. If you are deeply passionate about your work or a hobby, your value might come out through the way you talk about it. If you are socially connected, your value might show in how others greet you when you enter a venue. The framework simply tells you where each kind of behavior fits in the sequence. The same applies to comfort. Some men are naturally great listeners. Others are better at creating shared experiences. Others are more physical and expressive. The point is not to become someone you are not. The point is to understand that comfort requires time, shared reality, and emotional exchange. As long as those three elements are present, you are on the right path, no matter what form they take. With seduction, the model reminds you that intimacy is the last step, not the first. Instead of obsessing over how to close, you focus on building attraction and comfort so solidly that the closing almost happens by itself. Let's also connect this with Stoic principles, because they are extremely useful in the world of seduction. A Stoic man focuses on his character, not on external approval. When he approaches a woman and it does not go well, he does not build a story about his worth. He simply analyzes whether he followed the structure, whether his state was grounded, and what he can do better next time. He practices voluntary exposure to fear, approaching even when he feels nervous, starting conversations even when his mind offers excuses. Over time, his courage becomes automatic. That inner discipline makes the mystery method much more powerful because you are no longer clinging to every outcome. You are practicing. You are sharpening yourself as a man. In modern dating, a large part of interaction happens through messages. How does the mystery method translate there? Think of the texting phase as an extension of attraction and comfort. Your messages should keep your frame as the prize. You are not flooding her with attention. You are not sending walls of text. You are not demanding instant replies. You communicate with intention. When attraction is fresh, you might send a light, playful message that references something you shared. When comfort is growing, you might ask a slightly deeper question or suggest an activity that aligns with what you know about her. The biggest mistake is to text in a way that destroys the mystery you built in person. Over-explaining, oversharing, or turning texting into your primary tool instead of a bridge to the next time you meet. Another crucial aspect of the mystery method is calibration. Calibration is the art of adjusting your behavior based on real-time feedback. It is what separates a man who blindly applies techniques from a man who truly understands social dynamics. For example, if you enter a group and they are clearly in a serious conversation, you do not burst in with high-energy jokes. You tune in, start at a lower intensity, and slowly raise the energy if it makes sense. If a woman is shy and introverted, you do not tease her in the same way you would tease a very extroverted woman who loves banter. You always pay attention, you adapt, and you stay present. The mystery method gives you the skeleton. Calibration gives you the soul. At this point, you might be thinking, this sounds like a lot to remember. That is normal. But remember, you are not trying to consciously think of 9 phases while you are in the middle of an interaction. You internalize the model beforehand, and then you let your instincts run the show. Over time, your subconscious starts to recognize where you are in the sequence. You sense when attraction is solid. You sense when comfort is lacking. You sense when it is time to lean in and when it is time to lean back. The goal is to become unconsciously competent. You act naturally, but your actions are aligned with a powerful structure. So, what should you do after listening to this? First, identify your weakest stage. Are you stuck at the very beginning because you rarely approach? Then your first mission is to train the opening phase until it becomes effortless. Decide that every time you go out, you will start conversations, not just with women, but with people in general. Build social momentum. If you are good at opening, but you constantly feel that women lose interest after a few minutes, your weak spot is likely the value and qualification stage. You need to become better at leading the conversation, telling stories, teasing, and then qualifying her so you do not become just another random guy she talked to. If you do well early on but dates rarely lead to anything physical, your comfort and seduction stages need work. You may be moving too fast or too slowly, or you may not be creating the right conditions for intimacy to emerge. Second, commit to improving your baseline life. The mystery method and any serious approach to seduction works best when you are already building a life that you respect. Work on your body, your style, your finances, your friendships, your hobbies. This is not self-help talk. It is practical seduction advice. High-value behavior becomes much easier when you are genuinely proud of who you are and where you are going. Women are extremely sensitive to congruence. If your attitude says, I am a man with options and a mission, but your life says the opposite, they will feel the mismatch. When your external reality and your internal frame match, your presence becomes naturally attractive. Third, remember the ethical spine of everything you are learning. Techniques without ethics turn you into a manipulator. Techniques with ethics turn you into a charismatic, powerful, and trustworthy man. Always treat women as human beings with their own desires, limits, and vulnerabilities. Always respect no in any form. Always be prepared to walk away rather than compromise your principles. The deepest power you can have as a man is the power to choose who you let into your life, not the power to force yourself into someone else's life. You now have a clear, no-fluff overview of the mystery method. Attraction built through opening, demonstrating value, and qualifying. Comfort built through conversation, shared experiences, and emotional safety. Seduction emerging naturally from mutual desire and trust. You understand the psychology underneath, why sequence matters, why your frame as the prize is essential, why time and familiarity are non-negotiable, and why boundaries are sacred. If you want this to transform your results, do not just nod and move on. Rewatch this, take notes, and choose one stage to consciously practice this week. When you go out, you are no longer a man wandering in the dark. You have a map. Use it, refine it, and let it shape you into the kind of presence that women remember long after the night is over. And if you want to go deeper into the specific language, behaviors, and mindset shifts for each phase, stay tuned, because this is just the beginning of your evolution into a man who understands attraction at the level most people never will.